Well met, Rook.
How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's Crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solus and Mythal?
Mythal?
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form. Then, when Solus spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait, how do you know exactly what we saw of Solus's past?
Think upon it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories. When Mythal stood against the gods' manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
The Elven gods had access to magic beyond anything we can imagine?
To be sure, but it matters less what they possessed than what they were. You recall that the first elves were spirits, do you not? Mythal was a spirit turned elven. And when her body was struck down, to spirit she returned. Her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries, she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew. Until once again, she was struck down, on this occasion, by Solus. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
Then where did they... Wait. You?
As you say.
You're Mythal? That's why the ambient magic around you is so fractured.
Such a flattering picture you paint of this ancient bond.
What? That was like how Elgernon and Gillinan can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remain free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mythal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
I don't think I'd recover from that.
Neither did I, at the start. Mathal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me, but I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused? In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again. And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mathal's and of those who bore her.
You would have met Solus in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mathal's memories. At the time, I thought Solus a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments. He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elganon? Or Solus?
The last time Mathal faced Elganon and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solus?
You may recall he murdered Mathal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right. You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mathal.
I am not Mathal in her entirety, but yes. The Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solus?
I should ask you. Mathal knew Solus better than anyone.
I would influence your answer. Or do you mean to discover if I would stand directly against the Dread Wolf, were there a need?
Would you?
I shall aid you in any way but that, even had I the power. What has passed between Solus and Mathal? I beg you, do not ask this of me again.
Every decision he made, Solus thought he could save people, stop things from getting worse. Now his only way forward is a plan so terrible his last friends had to stop it.
An unfortunate belief, That all paths are closed but those one has already taken.
There might have been a better choice.
'Tis not malice which made Solus your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion. Yet Solus was once beloved of Mythal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
Maybe there's a way we all get what we want.
Do you truly believe such a thing?
Well, maybe at least what we deserve.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mythal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solus recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mythal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you. Find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
Another fragment of Mythal? In addition to the one inside you?
You are aware of what the word fragment means, are you not? One small piece of many, formed when something greater is broken. The first elves were spirits, as you well know, and when a spirit is broken, it may shatter into pieces, each holding part of the original. Among the ancient elves who became known as gods, Dirthaman and his brother, Falondine, are but one example.
You make it sound like this piece of Mythal is going to attack me.
You know Solus, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mythal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mythal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient. This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mythal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
If she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Elganon and Gillanane, or against the Dread Wolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solus is elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Elganon. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards, Mythal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other?
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evanurus, and then by Solus, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
Thank you for the information, Morgan.
I only ask that you reflect upon what I have said. The Dreadwolf is not so apart from the world as he thinks. There, you have the advantage of him.
Welcome to the Hall of Valor. I knew you'd find your way here sooner or later. Your kind always do. Looking to fight? Fine, fine. Everyone gets scared once in a while. I won't tell.
Oh, what foul-hearted spirit tugs at the corners of your lips to turn them down so?
Hey, I'm good to go whenever you got something.
I saw the Hivernal flying by with my own eyes, big as the sky, and ready for the lords to come be heroes. We take it down, and the village nearby will eat like kings and love us for it. It had bright red and blue scales. They'll be worth a fortune, even beyond the Horde.
That's not a Hivernal. You saw a Calton's on. And she's acting normal. She's not one of the dragons blighted by the gods. Going after her would get us killed for no good reason.
I'm gonna have to side with the Lords of Fortune's resident dragon expert.
You sure you're not just scared, Tosh?
Fight it if you want. Tell us where to send your stuff after it kills you.
Aw, sorry, Cutter. Tosh gets final say. We leave the Caltons on alone.
You think I can't fight a dragon just because I don't breathe fire?
You can't fight a dragon because you don't know what you're doing.
Fine. You're the expert.
I guess Cutter's really trying to make a name for himself.
Good way to get killed.
There's rumors of another dragon off to the west. Heard anything, Tosh?
Yeah. Not sure if it's blighted like the ones that attacked Minrathous and Treviso. But it's killing people in villages near Arlethan Forest. They need help.
Well, that's glory.
It's fire breather. They always have lairs with a horde.
And there's gold. Tempted yet?
We might be able to spare the time for a dragon hunt.
Can't wait to see what you find. Now, has Tosh told you about fighting a Gamadon storm rider in the middle of a typhoon?
Best time to catch 'em.
Oh, it was glorious, Rook.
Spirit of determination. May your enemies die bitter and in pain.
Yes! Good.
Don't encourage him.
I've been thinking about my strategy. I might need to switch from sword and shield to a two-handed weapon.
Oh, your heart is called to swing a mighty blade against your foes? Or perhaps a great hammer?
Well, no. See, I've been going sword and shield because it makes blocking easier. But I've heard that unless I gain more stamina, blocking is a losing strategy. I should be using a two-handed weapon. I could focus on rolling and then taking advantage of an enemy left open after an attack.
Or you could just fight them.
Belara, is it? I study Ravani history. Did I hear correctly that you're with the Dalish group, the Veil Jumpers?
Oh, yes. We're working mostly in Arlethan Forest right now.
It must be such an exciting time to study Elven history. With so much of it coming to life.
It is. It'd be a little easier if less of it was exploding, though.
Yeah. Everyone likes history until it tries to kill you.
For golden glory. You'll want something with a bit more bite this time, I reckon. All right, get your ass in there and give us a show. Our next challenge comes from the Veil Jumpers of Arthur. She's deadly and Danish. So everyone give a holler for Belara! Get clear. I see you picked up some nice tricks in the Shadow Dragons.
Well, when the Venatori have a floating palace that shoots firebolts, you have to get really good at not dying.
Nice.
penny for the damage the palace did to the city. And that's how they use it. Talk about it.
Armor, crafted by yours truly. Please stop by again.
This is it. The snake nest. Let's look around. See what we find. I don't think we'll get any answers from him. This Linus, he must own the snake nest. And he knows Atticus.
Someone burned documents, but they are too charred to read.
What happened here? A letter for Atticus, our missing person. Someone really wanted to meet at the snake nest. Why do I have a bad feeling about how that went?
Dragon burned down the building I rented the room in. Lost everything I owned. And I wasn't the only one.
Blood. There's a trail. A bloodstained shirt.
No tears in the fabric. The blood didn't belong to the shirt's owner.
Take a look at that. A sick kid. His father thought Atticus could help, but... something feels off. All right, that Snake Nest bartender must know something. We need to talk to her, again. A man named Atticus came to the Snake Nest. We know he was headed here. That your boss, Linus, knows him. We've been to Linus's home.
All right. It's the boss. He's been acting weird since the kid got sick. Urgent meetings, always checking the storage. But you're friends with Nev Gallus, aren't you? Maybe you can do something. I can let you into the storage. It's across the road.
The bar storage. There has to be more here. All this under the bar storage? Be ready. He might be farther in. Linus, the Snake Nest owner. He made a pact with a demon to save his kid. But the price, it was too high.
Did the demon want blood? Or to feed off the man's desire and desperation?
There's a key. We should see what else is here. How many did he kill? All for a demon. This was Atticus. His locket. We can return it to Sabina. There. Much sturdier than the old one.
Sure, here we go.
Belara, you've spent a lot of time in Arlathan Forest.
Sure, I know it better than most. The bits that don't change every time you come back, at least.
Are there any wyverns out there?
Oh, I don't think so. Not anymore, at least. There used to be some along the eastern edge of the forest, but they've left when things got weird.
So this Dreadwolf chased them away. Another reason to deal with him.
Sabina?
You're back. But Atticus...
The man who took Atticus's life. He thought it would save his child, but it wasn't right.
Atticus.
If there's anything you need, I have friends here in Minrathous who can help.
I don't know. I need time and... to put his name on the Wall of Light. Thank you. At least for letting me know.
Docktown's desperate are being targeted, then falling victim to demons. The Snake Nest owner, the people Compassion found. What if it's all the work of the same demon? If we keep up the work in Docktown, maybe we'll find more.
Ready when you are.
Nice work! Now's your chance. Well executed!
Oh, Lucanus, what did you think of the third book?
That Thieves' Guild is so unprofessional. There is simply no way it could ever work.
Too much backstabbing? Murder? Betrayal?
No. That part's fine. How do they get anything done without a schedule?
Trouble coming.
Something's sealed past here.
Something's very wrong. I can feel it. The catacombs never end.
Is that an elven statue?
They've been used to store food during plagues and wars. Kept the city alive more than once. But there was always so much more. Secrets as old as the city itself. Their purpose, what people know, it's always changing.
Belara, the ending of Book 5.
I know!
It was a bit like being stabbed in the gut.
But in a good way.
I've had worse.
Something's sealed past here.
Something's very wrong. I can feel it.
Lucanus, now that you've caught up, Book 8.
I do not understand what the guild could be thinking. Kidnap...
Lucanus, now that you've caught up, Book 8.
I do not understand what the guild could be thinking. Kidnapping a prince?
Well, there aren't kidnappers guilds, are there? I mean, I've never heard of any.
No guilds, exactly. But you can hire professionals for anything.
Okay, that's creepy. But the point is, the cliffhanger.
When is the next one supposed to be published?
Not soon enough.
Where did you get those whetstones you gave me?
I get them from Ireland. Why?
Where does Ireland get them?
I don't know. Somewhere in Arlithan, I guess?
Maybe that explains it. Spike keeps playing with